Jag är inte svenska, jag är faktiskt norska. Men jag ska se på svenska video nu.
Hey everyone.
Hej, vi ska se på 19 weird things Swedish people do that you should do too. Hell no om jeg skal gjøre noe svensk. Men det er veldig gøy å se hva rare ting de driver på med.
Hey everyone.
Hi.
I hope you are doing amazingly. Today I'm going to share the craziest, most wonderful, and best Swedish traditions that I think you should try too. From how we cut our pizza, to how we raise our children, to how we sleep, here are some of my favorite Swedish
Oppdra dere barn og sover på en annen måte enn...
traditions that I think everyone in the whole entire world should do. So let's get started. We cut our pizza with scissors.
Kutter dere pizza med saks? Runter deres pizzaen deres med sakser?
This is also a minimalist hack because you no longer need to use a silly pizza cutter that you literally cannot use for anything.
Du kan bruke den til pizza, det er det. De bruker saks, for det pizzarulleren er ikke til noen ting. Det er det beste jeg har hørt.
Instead, just use your kitchen scissors to cut pizza. Cutting pizza is such an easy and fun way to slice pizza. One of my favorite hacks for a happy marriage and a
Men hva skjer når du kutter pizzaen, ikke sant? La oss si det her er pizzaen du kutter. Når du kommer inn her, så må enten den delen over hånda di eller under. Du kan ikke kutte en hel pizza uten å få hånda di nedi.
The tradition that I grew up with is to have separate duvets. Having separate duvets makes so much more sense. It is
Duvets? Hæ? A plush top layer blanket? Ja, det er to dyner.
so much more comfortable. You never have to fight with your partner over a blanket, and it just makes a world of difference. If you have one duvet, it's big and bulky and it's crazy. Just try 2 duvets and see if it makes you feel any better.
Det liker jeg faktisk. Det der tipset der støtter jeg. Men en ting jeg ikke støtter her er at dere sover oppå treplanker med i hvert fall 20 cm mellomrom. Dere trener jo ikke, dere kan ikke 200 kilos i benken. Så dere detter ned mellom disse treplankene.
The next thing that is really important that you should try that we all do in Sweden is that we have a duvet cover and a duvet inner and a sheet to make our bed. We don't have any top sheets. We don't have any blankets. That is absolutely disgusting. Sorry, but it is because you don't...
Ok, så de har det litt sånn i Norge at vi har sengetrekk og sånn på, men hun her må forklare det som at det er veldig rart at svensker har sengetrekk og dynetrekk og putetrekk. Det er jo normalt. Det er ikke noe rart i det.
Really wash them as often. You need to have a duvet if it's cold in your country, and you need to put the duvet inside of the duvet cover,
Ja.
and then you wash the duvet cover weekly, and this way you have a very clean bed.
Fun fact, jeg gikk et halvt år uten å bytte sengetrekk i gang når jeg bodde i Oslo. Jeg kan ikke bo alene, for da skjer det ingenting. Fy faen og stivt det settet var til slutt.
One of my favorite Swedish sayings is something like, there is no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing.
Det er norsk, det er ikke svensk. Det er et norsk ordtak. Ikke stjel den fra oss nå. Jeg mener det. Hvis dere prøver å stjele det, så kommer dere til å få trøbbel med meg. Nei. Ok, nå prøvde jeg å være vittig igjen. Jeg skal ta med de her, kline litt med fisketrynet. Og så skal vi se på det her rolig som bare det, ok?
Very literal and very Swedish, but as a child this was normally printed on our weekly mailer at kindergarten.
Det finns inget dårligt väder, bare dårliga kläder. Det er ikke sånn ordtaket går det. Det finns ikke dårlig vær, bare dårlige klær.
Which basically meant for our parents to remember to put proper clothing on us because we would be outside all day, no matter the weather.
Når jeg var i Sverige så fikk jeg høre det finns fanden dårlig vær. Det finns også masse dårlige klær i Sverige. Vi har ikke noe bra klær.
One of the things that I didn't think was weird but that became obvious to me the moment I moved abroad was the fact that we don't talk about race. The first time I heard the word Caucasian, I was 20 and living in Japan.
Caucasian?
So do what the Swedish people do, I guess. Whilst we're speaking about politically sensitive subjects, let's speak about children. In Sweden, we treat our children with respect and we treat them as already humans.
What? Behandler svensker barna sine med respekt? Det skjer ikke i Norge. Her skal barna behandles med jernhånd. La oss si det her er ungen min. Pappa, kan jeg se på TV? Nei, ikke nå. Jo, men jeg vil. Hei, hør på meg nå.
Kids don't have to address older people in a certain way. Kids don't really have to act in a certain way. Kids are really allowed to be kids, which means they're allowed to make mistakes. They're allowed to be upset. They don't have to hug someone if they don't want to. They don't have to kiss someone if they don't want to. Just completely reasonable things that I think every country should adopt.
Ja, det sant, men du tar egentlig bare bra ting med Norge og putter det i en svensk video.
Kids are the best thing in the world,
Det kan hun si, men det kan ikke jeg si.
So I absolutely think we should treat kids with the utmost respect. Now, this one, I don't know if it's for all of Sweden, but it's definitely something I've experienced a lot of times. But that is people, when I get invited to dinner parties, people ask me, is there something you don't eat? My goodness.
Igjen, det norsk ting.
Goodness, it's to save so much trouble having a dinner party or going to a dinner party. I normally tell my best friend when I go to dinners at hers that I don't eat coriander or cilantro because I really, really don't like it. And it makes it a lot easier. One of the most important Swedish traditions is being whole and clean. Now,
ja, Gud forbi om du kommer halv. Skitten. Altså, bare beina dine kommer på festen, og du full av drit.
Now, what does this mean? This is a deeply rooted tradition that goes so far back in Swedish history, but ultimately it means to always present yourself as best as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Another thing that I think is crazy that other countries have and that we don't have is that we don't really use the expression from scratch. Growing up, I didn't know that you could buy...
Nei! We make everything from scratch. Bull fucking shit. Det gjør dere ikke.
Use the expression from scratch. Growing up, I didn't know that you could buy cake mixes. I had only seen it on TV. I had never really heard of it. I didn't know you could buy any sort of pre-made food or something that we call halvfabrikat, which...
Halvfabrikat?
If you make a cake, you will make it from scratch. That is just how you make a cake. There's no other way to make a cake. You either buy...
Ja, selvfølgelig. Enten lager du kake eller kjøper en kake. Men dere må legge på fra scratch for å få det til å føles bedre. Jeg lager en kake fra scratch. Jeg skal lage en bursdagskake til deg fra scratch.
One of the best Swedish culture traditions that you've probably already heard about is fika. A fika is when you have a coffee, normally, or a tea, with a sweet treat, and you normally have it in the afternoon, but you can actually have it whenever. And
What? Kan man? Vet du hva? Also en treat.
And this is one of the most common things we do when we go on dates or meet up with our friends. It's so cozy, it's really fun, but I also really like that it's...
Jeg skal fika til deg. I Norge betyr fike å slå. Nei, jeg mener det betyr det samme i Norge som svensker når dere er her i Norge. Si, kan vi fika? Kan du fika til meg? Si det. Det betyr at du elsker oss.
The few things in Sweden where you can date someone or meet someone without drinking alcohol. Now, fika means different things in different languages, especially in Italian, so I would use it with caution.
Hæ?
And
fika? Italiensk. Italian meaning. Cool. Okay.
Going back to childcare, another thing that I really appreciate about Swedish culture that you should try if you have children is co-sleeping. My parents co-slept with me and my brother. Everyone I know, I think, co-slept. My sister co-slept with me or with her parents when she...
Det høres ikke bra ut når du sier det på den. My sister slept with me, I slept with my brother, my father slept with me. Nå begynner det å bli litt rart her.
And I've never ever had any issues, heard any issues, or hear anyone talk badly about co-sleeping. Co-sleeping with your baby makes so much more sense because you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night and go into another room. Also, your baby's brain is not developed enough to know that you're not in the room.
Det er ikke en unnskyldning til å ligge med babyen din. Jeg vet at det ikke betyr det, men det er litt gøy å late som at det betyr det, for det var mye gøyere å se videoen når du ser for deg at hun snakker om å ligge med familien.
Co-sleeping shouldn't be a term, I don't think. It shouldn't be a trend. It shouldn't be an idea. It should just be the most common way for sleeping with your baby.
Men bare sånn, de snakker jo om at når du har en nyfødt baby, så burde du sove i samme rom som dem. I hvilke land er det de putter nyfødt baby i et mørkt eget rom, og så stikker foreldrene opp og ser på TV? Er ikke det her obvious?
A weird thing about Sweden that I thought was a bit quite strange, is that our school is a lot easier than any other school in the world. Now, I don't know exactly how accurate this is, but I know...
Det må være accurate, jeg lover dere. Hvis dere svensker hadde fått norsk skole, så hadde dere vært vildige i hele gjengen. Dere hadde droppet ut, dere hadde ikke klart det. Hva er 2 + 2? Inte det sånn der tomatsuppe?
We don't really date. Although I'm Swedish, I've never dated a Swedish guy because I think I've only have 2 Swedish guys ever hit on me in my entire life. But in general, we don't really date. We don't really have a period of dating where you can see other people, or normally you're just sort of not together and then you're sort of together. Dating in Sweden is very weird. That is why I've been so unsuccessful at it. And yeah, I find it a bit uncomfortable. And I think Sweden, in fact, should adopt how people date in other countries.
Hvordan er det med date i Norge da? Du sender en melding på Tinder. Harald, skal vi knalle, eller? Og så møtes dere tilfeldigvis på byen, for ingen av dere tør å møte hverandre når dere er dere. Møtes dere på byen, så gjør dere det dere skal. Og så tilfeldigvis noen måneder etterpå blir dere kanskje sammen.
And since most people have lots of sex before marriage, drink...
Hei. Dere, jeg skal brenne et kors og hive over hele Sverige.
I think it makes complete sense that most people don't go to church. I remember going to church in kindergarten for our summer ending, and I remember my priest had leather pants and played a rock and roll guitar.
Faen, det er fett! Men i Sverige har dere ikke sånn midtsommer hvor dere offrer gamle folk og sånn da?
In Sweden we have something called jantelagen, which practically means...
Jantelagen! Det der janteloven, eller hva faen du sier i Norge, er en sånn ting som folk snakker om, men som ingen bryr seg om. Igjen stjeler det fra Norge da, men jeg er faen sur på Norge også, som har det der jantelov. Helvete, hva er janteloven? Nå skal vi søke her. Hva er janteloven? Enkelt forklart. Du skal ikke innbille deg du er bedre enn oss. Du skal ikke tro du vet mer enn oss. Du skal ikke tro du er mer enn oss. Du skal ikke tro at du duger til noe. Ok, så det er janteloven. Det er derfor folk er så jævla pingler her i Norge. Men der ser dere. Jeg gir faen i det. Hva får jeg til? Jeg spiller Fortnite en gang iblant, og har ingen kollegaer, deprimert og jævlig, og får sikkert en skattesmell større enn alt annet.
And it's such a nice culture to live in, and I think that's why so many people move back to Sweden when they want to have a family, because it's such a safe and reasonable and wholesome place.
Safe? Jeg hører jo at folk med AK-47 i alle nabolager i Sverige nå, for de er safe. Nå ble den videoen jeg laget 1 år siden, ja. Ja, mye har skjedd på 1 år.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I
Bare
had
hyggelig.
so much fun speaking about my Swedish traditions.
Snälla svenska, det eneste jeg kom på denne videoen er at du tog 19 vanliga ting og sa at svenskar gjør det. Newsflash, det er vanliga ting. Inte rara. Jeg kommer til Sverige, folkens. Gjør klar rød løper. Ha det. Kanskje jeg flytter.